The process begins in the field, where ripe red tomatoes are harvested at the peak of freshness. At this stage, timing is critical because the tomatoes must be fully red, mature, and firm enough for processing. If they are picked too early, the color and flavor will be weak, but if they are too soft, they may not survive the line. On large commercial farms, powerful harvesting machines move through long rows of tomato plants at high speed. These machines separate the ripe tomatoes from the vines and collect them in huge quantities within minutes. In some operations, workers still remove badly damaged fruit, but most industrial harvests are heavily mechanized. This speed is necessary because the factory needs a constant flow of fresh tomatoes every day during the season. Once harvested, the tomatoes are loaded into trailers, bins, or transport trucks and sent quickly to the factory. This transport stage is more important than it looks because any delay can damage freshness, texture, and color. Tomatoes are delicate, and too much delay can cause bruising, softening, and quality loss before processing even begins. That is why industrial tomato factories are designed to receive fresh tomatoes continuously and move them straight into production. When the trucks arrive, the tomatoes are unloaded into the receiving area for the first inspection. Workers or automated systems check for color, ripeness, visible damage, and foreign materials. Not every tomato that arrives is suitable for canning, so this early inspection protects the final product. After receiving, the tomatoes move into the washing section, where industrial cleaning begins. Water sprays, washing channels, and rotating systems remove soil, dust, and plant debris from the fruit. The water flow also helps carry the tomatoes gently through the system without causing too much damage. Next comes sorting and grading, where only the best tomatoes are selected to continue. Workers, cameras, or sensors identify underripe, overripe, discolored, damaged, or rotten tomatoes. What remains are bright red tomatoes that meet the factory standards for quality and consistency. Once washed and sorted, the tomatoes move into preparation for peeling. For whole peeled tomatoes, the skins must be removed to create a soft and smooth final product. In many factories, this is done using steam peeling under carefully controlled conditions. The hot steam loosens the skins, which are then removed by finishing systems further down the line. Some factories also use blanching to soften the skins and reduce enzymes before packing. At this point, the tomatoes already look cleaner, softer, and more refined for the next stage. After peeling, the tomatoes go through another inspection to remove any remaining skin or damaged pieces. Depending on the product, the tomatoes may remain whole, be cut into chunks, diced, or lightly crushed. The goal is to bring the tomatoes into a consistent form before the filling stage begins. Now the process becomes even more automated as the tomatoes move toward the filling line. Empty metal cans are already traveling in perfect sequence, ready to receive the tomatoes. These cans are automatically aligned so that each one receives the correct amount of product. The tomatoes are packed into the cans, often together with juice, puree, or light tomato liquid. This liquid improves appearance, texture, and heat transfer during the preservation stage. One line may produce whole peeled tomatoes, while another produces chopped or diced tomatoes for different markets. After filling comes one of the most important steps in the entire factory, sealing the can. A metal lid is placed on each can, and the seam is formed tightly to create an airtight seal. If the seal is weak or damaged, the product can spoil, leak, or fail safety checks later. That is why seam quality is closely controlled and monitored throughout the line. Once sealed, The cans move into the heat processing stage that gives tinned tomatoes their long shelf life. Here, the cans are heated under carefully controlled conditions to destroy harmful microorganisms. This is the preservation step that makes the product safe and shelf-stable for long storage. The tomatoes inside must reach the correct temperature for the right amount of time. Too little heat could make the product unsafe, while too much heat could damage texture and color. That is why the canning process depends heavily on automation, sensors, and strict process control. After thermal processing, the cans are cooled to protect quality and stop further cooking. Cooling also stabilizes the cans and prepares them for handling and final inspection. Now the preserved cans move through systems that check for dents, leaks, seam quality, and fill performance. Any defective cans are removed, and only the best continue to the final packaging stage. Next comes coding and labeling, where each can receives product information and traceability marks. Labels are applied automatically, turning plain metal cans into finished retail products. After labeling, the tins are grouped into trays, cartons, or shrink-wrapped multi-packs for shipping. Automated packing systems organize them neatly and prepare them for warehouse storage and transport. From there, the packed tins are stacked onto pallets and wrapped for stability. This is the final journey from open field harvest to shelf-ready tinned tomatoes. From harvesting, washing, sorting, peeling, filling, sealing, and packing, every stage protects quality and safety. What began as ripe red tomatoes in the field has now become a finished product ready for supermarkets around the world. That is how fresh tomatoes are transformed from the farm into tinned tomatoes inside a fully automated factory.